Good morning. Yesterday we had done the Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 up to verse 4. And in that we had learnt that Arjuna was asking a question. Why should you give me so much of confusing answers? That means Sri Krishna is giving answers and they are confusing Arjuna. So first he says you have to follow the path of knowledge, and then he says you have to follow the path of action. So Arjuna had asked him, please give me only one answer. I don't want 10 answers because it is not going to help me. So Sri Krishna is answering him that man can never be free from action. So even if this person is on the path of knowledge, action is anyway going to happen. You have to continue to do the action. Now, if any person who is following this path of knowledge refuses to perform action, then it is sinful. We are going to learn this today. So, let us proceed to the next verse. We are doing chapter 3 of the Bhagavad Gita, verse 5. Surely, none can ever remain inactive even for a moment, for everyone is helplessly driven to action by modes of Prakriti, the nature-born qualities. Inactivity is something that can never be achieved by anybody. Suppose you become inactive. What is inactive in this world? Stones are lying around here and there. And there are various objects around which are just inactive. They are just lying over there. Can they do action on their own? No. No. Human beings have to perform action. And this action has to be performed, come whatever may. So what does this action mean? The action is from within. The mode of Prakriti, what are the three modes of Prakriti? Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. They are within the human nature. Human being is full of these three qualities. Some are predominant and some are passive. So the active principle and passive is there inside the human being. So he can be actively sattvic, but he can be passively tamasic. Doesn't matter. The three different kinds of modes are distributed in that human being. Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna, please understand, you cannot do anything because your body is going to perform those actions. You will be driven by your own nature to perform the actions. How many of you have seen me? When I keep on provoking people, I'll keep on prodding them because it is in their nature to respond. You got it? The human nature is designed like that. You keep on prodding a person and keep on irritating that person, finally the person has to react. He can try his level best. I am not going to say anything. But nature is driving you to answer back. You understand? You see, even when a child is being reprimanded, you may say, oh, the teacher is reprimanding the child, or the father or the mother is doing that. The child is quiet. Maybe he is listening to everything. No, he is only quiet by his outer appearance. But inside his mind he is seething. He is going to be reacting. Maybe not today, the reaction may come tomorrow. If there are siblings, you will find that one sibling is beaten or something like that. He will go and beat another sibling. It is so common. It is inherent nature of human beings. To do action is inherent nature. Nature will drive you to do that action. So even if you say, I don't want to do, you know how children are, no? They'll hold their hands like this and say, I don't want to do. Well, don't worry, you will do. Because this action happens. Whether it is individual nature or collective nature. I will tell you collective nature also. Collective nature is about a group of individuals. Suppose a country is invaded by somebody. Don't you think it is a collective nature which will say, I want to do this, I want to retaliate, I want to fight? It is but the nature. Remember, Mahabharata started when they were playing the game of dice. The Pandavas and the Kauravas were playing the game of dice. This game is very addictive. It is gambling. And gambling is any which way addictive. So when they were playing this game of gambling, there was one person who kept on prodding them. You should. Go ahead and play this. And because of that, Yudhishthir said, okay, I will play. All his brothers also joined. Finally, at the last moment, they lost their kingdom. They lost everything, including their wife. They even played her. Got it? And this is terrible. You see, in other countries or in India also, servants, slaves, the slavery is a very big thing in the past. Today also there are slaves across the world. There are various countries where slavery is there. I can't name them. I think you know. So, slaves. Human beings are treated worse than animals. They are sold. So, this happened. But when that happened, and the last dice was also thrown, they had to go on 14 years of going to the jungles somewhere, so they should not be seen anywhere close by. When they went to the jungles, the last year was Agyatwas, which basically translates into nobody should be able to locate you, nobody should be able to find you. It is in incognito mode. Now I want you to think about it. How many years did this action seed inside that person? 14 years. Sometimes people don't react to something for many, many years because circumstances do not allow them to do that. So after 14 years, they stood up to fight a war which is called the Mahabharata. So you are driven by this nature. Your nature is going to make you do those actions. So Sri Krishna is explaining to Arjuna, come whatever may. You may say, I don't want to do just now because of certain reasons. Don't bother. Your own nature is going to make you do that. You are driven by your nature. There is a person in the last week, a young girl of 17 years or something like that. This man took her to the jungle, to somewhere, and stabbed her. He carried a knife with her. It is his girlfriend. And he stabbed her 20 times. And then after killing her, he took a big stone and crushed her. How terrible is that? This is premeditated action. That means, imagine, your mind can retain so many small things, and it can perform any action. Tomorrow the person can say, I was driven to take this action, and they might put him in a mental asylum. That's it. And he can get away with it. Did you understand? A mentally unstable person can get away with it. Laws are so stupid that you can get away with murder as well. Imagine that. So Sri Krishna is telling Arjuna, even if I tell you that knowledge, a person who is on the path of knowledge, Sankhya Yoga, is supposed to sit in one place and meditate and keep on learning all these kind of things. But don't worry, he's supposed to take action also. Because whether he likes it or not, he may think that I will just sit in one place. No. His own nature will make him act. Alright, so now we will go to the next verse. We are doing Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, verse 6. He who outwardly restraining the organs of sense and action sits mentally dwelling on the object of senses, that man of deluded intellect is called a hypocrite. Well, now do you understand who an hypocrite is? A hypocrite is a person who may see something, hear something, and may not act as I have heard. He may say, I don't know, I never saw. The same girl's murder which happened was observed by 20-30 people. That person killed her in broad daylight in front of so many people, and nobody took action. They were taking videos. What kind of heinous, action is this? I don't know. But anyway, coming back to this, human beings are hypocrites of the highest order. They will do something in their mind and they will say, oh, nothing happened, nothing happened, nothing happened. What do you mean by nothing happened? So Sri Krishna says, when you outwardly restrain the organs of senses, how many people have you observed in this world who may, there are other people around you? They will just be lost in their phone and they will not even look up. When they can see something wrong happening next to them, they are sitting in their seat and an elderly person is standing, or a person who is lame is standing over there. They will keep on sitting in their seat and as if they are lost in reading something or doing something, and they will show that they don't know about it. Hypocrisy is a modern nature. 99% of this world is a hypocrite. They will not perform any action. So Sri Krishna says, this person who withdraws his organs of action or the sense organs, he says, I am not seeing, I don't know. Such a person in the mind is dwelling. The person dwells so much in the mind. And when this person is dwelling in the mind, he still doesn't perform that action. Such a person who is dwelling only in the mind is having what is called as a deluded intellect. I will tell you something in the satsang also. The reason why when I am talking about something, a question comes up. It is related to your own life. Because you are going through that stage in your life or something is happening to you. You are still dwelling in the mind, saying that, oh my God, he's exactly putting his finger where I am going through this right now. That person who only dwells in the mind, a person who dwells only in the mind has a deluded intellect. And such a person is called a hypocrite. Do you understand? Don't keep on dwelling in the mind because the mind is not good. It is going to give you all the wrong answers. The answers which your mind can give are so wrong. Let us take a case where a person has gone through a miserable time in life. This lady whom I know, she went through literal hell for 4 years. And then one fine day, she wrote a letter. Just before she was going to take the final action, she called me. I asked her, you are destroying your life for some idiot in your life? Some person who has ditched you? Your beautiful life, you are chucking it away because of some other person? And 4 years your mind has been talking, chatting away to glory. Don't you think it is important to take help? Don't you think it is important to talk to someone and get the whole thing sorted out? Why is it important to go after this one man? Do you think there is only one man remaining in this world? Don't bother. And is that the only thing that you are after called relationships? First have relationship with your own self. You are not alone. Your body is a vehicle. Your relationship with your body is extremely important. If your body is performing well, your relationship with the body will progress properly. But if your body is having a problem, connected to the mind, connected to the intellect, connected to the senses, sense organs, you name it, that relationship is going to deteriorate. First, consider yourself and then think about the world. You owe it to yourself first. So after I gave her all this advice, she dropped the whole idea. Next morning she came to meet me and she said, "Thank you Guruji, you saved me." I said, "You are a very intelligent woman. Please don't do this kind of stupid mistakes in your life. You don't know how much you will have to suffer after you are dead and gone, which you don't understand. Nobody realizes what happens after death. You have to be born again and again and again and again. How many times? Nobody knows. We are only bothered about this life. What about the next and the next and the next and the next? In this life, if you are, say, your problems are 10. Next life, they will be 100. After that, it will be 1,000. You think it is going to lessen? No, it's going to increase. Exponential. It's going up. Exponentially, it will go up. Why do you want to suffer? So now, Sri Krishna says, such a person who doesn't respond but only thinks and talks in his mind is having a deluded intellect, an intellect which is all muddled up, because you are incapable of finding the answers yourself. You know what is the meaning of the word guru? The one who removes the darkness, which means the darkness of ignorance. Person who shows you the light towards a better future. A guru's job is not to put somebody into trouble. Guru's job is to ensure that you get out of the trouble. And for getting out of the trouble, there are too many steps to be taken, not just one step. Okay? Not terminating your life is not the step. Nobody says that. You have to take help. Maybe I may not be qualified for giving you, that kind of an advice. But there are so many helplines. Go and talk to them. Doesn't matter. You can take help of them as well. Doesn't really matter. So, person who only dwells in the mind and doesn't take action has got a deluded intellect. And such a person is called a hypocrite. Got it? So now we move to the next one. We are doing Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 verse 7. On the other hand, he who controlling the organs of senses and action by the power of his will and remains unattached, undertakes the yoga of selfless action through those organs. Arjuna, he excels. So on the other hand, he is giving a picture of a person who is a true yogi. Who is a true yogi? A true yogi is that person who will perform the action. It is a duty to perform the action. But the action which he performs, his senses and his mind is not reacting to that. Please understand this. His senses and mind is not reacting to that. Whatever action that he is taking, there is no reaction coming from his mind. His job is just to do his job. So, he who outwardly restrains the organs of senses and action, on the other hand, he who controlling the organs of senses and action by the power of his will. You have to control your senses and the action that you perform with your own will. There is no God going to come, God please help me, I don't want to do this. No, there is no God going to come from somewhere to help you that don't do this, like that. He is not going to say that. It is your own will. You have to make tremendous amount of effort to restrain yourself. Got it? I will give you the answer from Mahabharata itself. So there is a person called Dushasan. Dushasan, the moment the Pandavas have lost their wife, Dushasan goes to her, pulls her in the middle of that entire crowd. Now, this is a place where all the kinsmen are sitting. On the main throne, there is a throne over there on which the father is sitting, Dhritarashtra. Next to him is Duryodhan, and right around them are all these great Maharathis. Bhishma Pitama, Karna, Kripacharya, you name it, everybody, Dronacharya, and the hundreds of others guys who are there, they are all sitting. And these Pandavas are sitting in one side. And their wife is being pulled in the center of that stage. Everybody is watching. Everybody is watching. Now, whoever is watching doesn't even lift their finger to go and do something about her, including the Pandavas. A woman is being disrobed. She is dragged by her hair. How can this person do it? Nobody is questioning it. They are only dwelling in their mind. Please remember this. The previous verse is valid over here. So Bhishma Pitama, Dronacharya, Karna. Everybody takes Karna's side. I am sorry, Karna was also watching. Duryodhan, Dushasan, Yudhishthir, all his brothers, everybody is watching this atrocity being done to this wife of theirs. And when that is being done, these people only dwell in their mind. This should not happen, this should not happen, this should not happen. Sri Krishna is not there at that time. But Sri Krishna's entire attention is over there. Because he is everywhere. Please remember this. Why is it that at this given moment in time, Draupadi only thinks of Krishna? She could have thought of any other god for that matter, isn't it? Why is it that she is only dwelling on Krishna? Because Krishna is the ultimate, supreme, divine consciousness. Please understand this. She doesn't say to Brahmaji, please come and save me. She doesn't say to Vishnu, please come and save me. She doesn't even tell Shiva, please come and save me. She remembers Krishna and she says, Krishna, save me. And then what happens, I don't have to tell you. But the hypocrisy of everybody is noticeable over there. And such kind of people, including Bhishma Pitama, are hypocrites of the highest order. So, a person who controlling the organs of senses and action by the power of his will and remains unattached, undertakes the yoga of selfless action. He is not going to see the problem that is happening there. With his eyes, he is not enjoying the problem. A woman is being disrobed. You know how mind is lusty. This individual whom we call as the person who is the highest in spirituality, a yogi, is not dwelling in that subject. On the contrary, he is dwelling in the divine. And he gets up and he may perform an action restraining Dushasan and taking this woman away and putting her at the side and giving her some clothes to wear. Only Krishna does it. So such a person who restraining his senses and his organ of action. Now, in such case, what is the organ of action that we are talking about? We are not talking about hands, legs and all that. Okay? So let us think about what he is talking. So restraining from doing all those actions. He performs this action selflessly. So in your life, how do you apply this knowledge? First and foremost, don't be a hypocrite. When something happens, your mind talks, it is important to elevate that, get it out of your system and just move ahead. Please remember this. Don't keep on dwelling on the subject, otherwise you will become a hypocrite because you are not going to talk about it. But whatever action that needs to be done, do that action without involving your senses and the organs, and just move it. Do the action and go ahead. Don't bother about it. So this kind of a person who does selfless action, a person who does selfless action. Selfless means there is no advantage to that person. He doesn't get benefit from it. So there is no karma attached to that action. So no benefits accrue to this person. So neither good karma nor bad karma comes to this person. So the person performs the action and just moves ahead. That's it. And doesn't talk about it. Please understand this. You don't have to keep on talking about the action that you did. So such a person is a person who does selfless action, because actions will be performed. Please remember this. Don't forget that actions cannot be performed. Actions will be performed by your own nature. Your own nature will drive you to perform that action. Perform that action. Don't get attached to the action or have expectation from the action. Just do the action and move ahead. Alright? So this is where we come to it. And that person excels. Alright? So he becomes an excellent person. He becomes a yogi. So we have come to the end of verse 7. So we will stop over here.